How does that guy say it?
Sales calls.
Sales calls. Cam Sam.
For both the end user or the end recipient and the sales professional, we want to make sure that the audience and the public knows the, I guess you could say, the courtesy that you should follow when interacting or engaging in sales activities. Let's talk about ghosting for a minute.
Wait, ghosting. You want to get right into ghosting?
Just ghosting.
Okay.
If you lead a sales professional on and you're like, hey, I think I might need this, that's great. But what you're doing is you have that sales professional kind of excited, and all they're going to do on their end is do their job by explaining to you what problem they can solve or what they can do for you. You need to make sure that you're serious, that you plan on doing something with them, because you're wasting their time. You're technically wasting your time if you have no intention on doing something. And here's a big one. If you have no intention on doing anything with them, tell them yes or no. Not answering their texts, not answering their calls, just being a piece of shit isn't going to serve you. And if you truly want that salesperson to leave you alone, tell them that you're going to pass. Now, they may give you a rebuttal because you know deep inside that it probably would solve your problem, but you're trying to avoid maybe the expense or something like that.
Yeah.
But make sure that you're prepared, because as a sales professional, they're going to express maybe some a rebuttal like, oh, I'm sorry, was it the term or was it the price? And if they come back and they don't say a word to you, that salesperson doesn't know how to potentially get over your obstacles. But if you're just like, hey, I can't afford it, straight up, there's no way I can afford this, that would be more of a clear, honest message to the salesperson so they don't spin their wheels.
Now,
Don't ghost, don't bullshit.
Now, if you're on the other end of this, how do you find out if they're a time waster? So it's, people think about this way more than they should. When I'm talking to someone, I force them, the prospect that I'm talking to respect my time. And I'll say things like, qualifying questions. Do you want to grow? Do you, I'm trying to think of more general questions. Like, do you want the outcome of what we have to provide to happen? Do you want,
where are you at now? Where do you want to be?
So, and then at the end of the call, normally, if I have any sort of, thought in my head, they haven't scheduled another call, maybe they're looking for information, they're asking the basic put off questions, I'll say, listen, at the end of the day, is it worth me to call you? I want to make sure that no one's wasting anyone's time here. Do you want to grow? Do you want to do this? Do you want to test this product? And I'll ask them straight up, was this call interesting enough to you, or was it good enough where you actually want to spend time with me on another call? If you ask those qualifying questions, normally it works, because at the end of the day, if you don't and you say, okay, I'll send you some information and I'll follow up with you next week, there's no time set. There's no nothing. You have to set those times, and you have to make sure that they're actually interested in talking with you. You have to make sure that they're actually going to answer you when you call back. That's how you get away from ghosting. If they say, at the end of the call, when you ask that question and they say, well, we have a lot of marketing that we do, this and that, whatever, that's when you start to rebuttal, but we're not going to get there yet. Or if they say, no, I don't think we are interested in this, but I'll take a look at it. Send them information, leave it at that. But if they do say, yeah, I am interested in the outcome, I am interested in testing it probably, then okay, I will call you at this time next week, or what day and time works best for you to call, for me to call you. You got to make sure you have those qualifying questions so that you don't get the people who ghost you, and you don't get any time wasters.
Ghosting is absolutely ridiculous. I think it's unprofessional, it's childish, and people need to stop doing it. The way you behave towards anybody, even a sales professional. It's going to follow you. Also, if you're a business owner and you have salespeople that are busting their asses working for you, why would you treat someone in a
way that you want them to be
Why
treated?
would you treat somebody like that that's just trying to earn a living? Cut the shit. I want cue Michael Jordan.
I'm Michael Jordan. Stop it. Get some help.
Now, I want to kind of get into how to break the barriers. We've talked about this before. How to break them down so that they're not, I get calls. Like these people that you're calling get calls like this all the time. You can be in real estate. You can be in marketing. You could be in investing. You can be in anything. People get calls like this all the time. Do you want a loan? No, I don't want a loan.
Oh, I'm getting hammered by that.
I'm getting hammered by that. And I get calls all the time. I don't know why, but people asking me if my parents want to sell their house.
I was talking about we've been talking. I've been talking a lot with people about the loan case study. When we worked with the loan.
Oh yeah.
we did a project, and we still are, with a company that sells loans, and it was successful, and we have a case study out of it. But I've been actively expressing that to different people I was talking to about our case study related to the loan industry. And I am getting slammed with loan ads. And I'm like, what? I'm getting text messages. I'm getting all of this communication. And I'm like, what is going on?
But if we're trying to break down the barriers, and we're in the service industry, right? You're in an industry where you have case studies, or you're in an industry where maybe even you alone have, things that you can tell, success highlights kind of stuff. Whenever I get on the phone, I break down the barrier immediately by
asking them if they're familiar with
people who we've helped before. And that alone, they could say no, but that opens them up to you've asked them if they're familiar with them, right? They're probably not. Let's say they're across the country. Well, for them, we did this. And for a competitor, we did this. And for another, company, we did this.
Get into the meat and potatoes.
Get to it right away before you even introduce yourself. Because people at the end of the day are going to hear, hey, my name is Jake and I'm calling from... No one wants to hear that. If I hear that, immediately, as a human, I'm like, ugh, another call. But if I call someone and I open it up as a conversation...
Yeah.
We did this for this. We did, and just straight up, just say it. You don't have to sound like a fucking robot. We did this for these guys. Have you heard of these guys? We did this for them. Sometimes, if you did a really good job, like we've had experiences with, people from across the country will have heard of that success story. Mm-hmm. And that opens up, they immediately, they say, yeah, I saw how well they did. You're the guys who did that. Yes, I am.
Yep.
That is a good way to do it. Remember, the key point is, have you ever heard of this company? Get into the success highlights.
Or if it's stone cold and you don't have a case study or a name to drop, I would say get into, because here's the thing, psychologically, people they like to help, right? And if you're trying to get to a target prospect, you get in there and you say, maybe you could help me out. Mm-hmm. Trying to get in touch with the right person over there that heads up this. When you say that, maybe you can help me out. There's something that clicks subconsciously where someone's like,
thing.
Oh shit. Oh, that would be Joe. Joe heads that up. Okay. All right. Oh, hey, who heads up logistics, or who heads up new store construction?
Where's the headquarters? Like it could be, yeah.
Maybe you say, maybe you could help me out. Rather than saying, hi there, my name is Johnny Lumpkins, and I'm calling from blah, blah, blah. Like people are going to tune that out because they're sick of hearing that bullshit.
Yeah.
They want to hear something more conversational and real. And I always tell people, when you're on the phone, use your motherfucking living room voice.
Yeah, yeah.
Tone it down.
I've talked to and trained a lot of people.
Tone it down. When you're in your living room and you speak to somebody, just say you're at your mom's house and you're talking to your mom. You don't say, hey, Mom, this coffee's great. This coffee's great.
That's Sam. When he's telling a story, oh, my God. Yeah, that's Sam.
That was a little too loud.
Yeah,
but
sorry.
no, you won't be like, hey, Mom, this coffee's great. My name's Andy. You go, oh, hey. You'd be like, Mom, this coffee's good.
Yeah.
Where'd you get it? Market Basket? Did you get this from Market Basket?
That is a perfect case of the favor strategy or something. Let's
Living
call it
room voice.
No, let's call it favor strategy. So
That.
Yes.
But we're talking about tonality.
yeah, tonality is 100%.
Yeah.
Listen, we both have trained people, talked to salespeople. We've worked with salespeople. Whenever I hear someone sound like a robot, you're not going to get through to people. This is me. This is how I talk to people on the phone.
You have to have a soul.
You have to have personality. If you don't have personality, that's why some of the most successful salespeople talk interesting, because that's just them. That's how they talk.
They're engaging.
They're engaging, exactly. But favor strategy is a big piece. If you're calling someone and you haven't gotten to that person yet, dealerships is a big one for this, because there's so many of them and you don't know where the headquarters is. You don't know where the main office is. You don't know the person. I've been trying to reach out to this guy to just introduce myself in an opportunity, but I'm having a really hard time.
Maybe you can help me out.
Maybe you can help me out. Asking someone a favor, for some reason, breaks down barriers. It's human nature to want to help someone. In most cases, it's human nature. It's just like if you have a lunch meeting with someone, or you're meeting someone, whatever, any situation, if you're meeting someone that you want to do business with, hey, can you do me a favor? Can you do me a favor? For some reason, you asking them to do a favor breaks down the barriers. They're a friend immediately. They it's like, I know this person, because normally a stranger's not going to ask for a favor. It's a friend. So in the back of their head, oh, a favor's being asked of me. I'm going to do it. I'm going to help them out. It's a way to break down barriers, the favor strategy. That's what I want to call it. That works really well. Occasionally it doesn't, but you know what? Most people normally want to help out. But what were we talking about? Tonality is very, very important. At the end of the day, it is going to make or break a salesperson, especially on the phone or even in person. We've talked about using your body language to get people to not be bored of what you're talking about. Using body language, using, your extremities, right? Is that what it's called? Extremities? Using your arms and your feet, and not your feet, using your arms and your hands to talk to someone while you're pitching them, it gets you in the conversation and gets them, the receiving person, in the conversation as well. You don't want them to be bored. People do not want to talk in the morning. Unless you've already talked to them, people do not want to talk in the morning. If it's like...
Well, I mean catching someone.
Because
I usually have a 10 o'clock meeting.
Catching someone between 4 and 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock, like when it's summer out, when it gets dark at 8, between 4 and 6, I'll catch them. They're in the car, heading home. It's hard because, like, if we're talking about home improvement companies, which for marketing services, paid ad management, whatever popular services these days, home improvements, it's a big hit. These guys are getting called up the ass. It's a popular industry to call on. Those guys, if you call them anytime between like 4 and right before it gets dark, it's still bright out, it's about to get dark, that's a good time to call them at. Sometimes I'll have people ask me to call them at 7. You know what's actually really interesting? I had filled out a form, or I had reached out to a company.
Sales pitch was terrible. Terrible.
Horrible, by the way. But I had reached out to a company and said, hey, give me a call. I have an opportunity. I want to talk about, I want to introduce myself and talk about an opportunity. I got a call same day at 9:30 at night.
The owner called you?
No, it wasn't the owner, but someone called me and it was like a New York number or something. And I was like, oh, who's this? And so I answered. I said, hey, 9:30 at night. I'm settling down. I just finished. Well, I've eaten dinner, I've relaxed, gone for a walk, whatever. Maybe playing Xbox, whatever. And I got a call at 9:30, and I answered it because I was curious, like, who's calling me at 9:30 at night? Like, do I know them? Whatever. And it made me think. I've never done this because I don't know how people will reciprocate this, but I answered and I was like, yeah. Well, obviously I was interested in the service or interested in the opportunity, but he called me at 9:30 at night. That was interesting to me. But timing is very important. But it all depends on the industry.
You're not supposed to call anyone after 9.
Yeah, that's normally the thing is like 9 o'clock, but I won't call anyone past like 7 o'clock.
I think that might be a law. Like if it's a business call, I don't think you're allowed to.
Really? I didn't know that.
No. I'm sorry. It's to consumers. My bad.
Oh,
You can't
okay.
call a
Yeah.
consumer. So let's say you're soliciting something and it's after 9
B2C.
p.m. Yeah, you can't. Again, this is my understanding and what I was told in the past is this 9 o'clock cutoff. That seems crazy to call you at that time.
It was a little crazy, but it was interesting. And the guy was like, I just wanted to call you before I left the office. I'm like, bro, you're in New York. You're not in the office. What are you doing? You're not in the office right now.
Another thing that
that fucking pitch, maybe we should talk about that. That was horrible.
So when you have rebuttals, when you have a prospect that says, yeah, I don't think this is a fit, you need to understand what is the obstacle that's preventing them from moving forward. Because at the end of the day, you're going to be most likely providing some value that they're going to want for their personal life or their business or their feet. Who knows? If you're solving a problem, let's say somebody has bunions or someone has bad toenails and you're going to sell them a little tube of ointment and say, listen, I know your toes look like mushrooms at this time, but this ointment will make them look crystal clear.
Like glass.
Beautiful. After 30 days of using this ointment, I know I'm just randomly here at your doorstep and I have no idea what your toes look like. Please buy a bottle. You're going to provide value. So whatever it is, clean toenails, whatever it is, you're going to provide value. If somebody says no, but you have intelligence that there's something wrong that you can solve, pretty sure that they're going to want to solve that problem. So it's something else. It's your job as a sales professional to get through those obstacles with rebuttals.
Yes.
Rebuttals are providing answers to questions and digging deeper and uncovering what is holding someone back from making a decision.
This is one of the biggest part of sales that I don't think people understand. Everyone says, oh, a good salesperson sells emotions. Good. Yeah, right. A good salesperson sells value. Good. Okay. One of the best salespeople sell outcomes. So, and the reason why I'm saying that is because we had a call the other day. And it was not going well. The guy was, listen, I pay for leads. I don't pay until the job's done. This is my rebuttal every single time, and it normally works. You know, you have to understand, like I said before, good emotion, good value, best outcome. When you're selling your product, especially to a rebuttal, if they say, I'm good, and this is good for like dating too. I don't want to end the call without having you best understand the value and the outcome that we provide. Right now, you're doing this, and you're going to be stuck doing this. I'll explain exactly what we said, because you know what? I don't give a fuck anymore. We help people get away from buying leads. We build an internal infrastructure just to kind of give an understanding that drives you qualified customers. That's one piece of something that we do. When I was on the phone with him, I said, listen, you're going to be stuck doing this. It's only going to lead to this, which is a negative thing. It's not going to be good for you. If you want to grow your business from this to this, I educated him. The only thing that's going to get you there is by owning the lead generation. Now, you can say this during the pitch, you can say this, whatever, but you have to, if they say, I'm all set, listen, I understand you get calls like this all the time. I just want, before I let you go, I'll beat myself up if I don't give you the best understanding of what we provide, you know, and we leave this conversation and you don't understand. And then I gave him the value. I dropped all the value in the most aggressive way that I could. Listen, if you don't do this, this is what's going to happen. If you do this, you will have control. You'll be able to scale. You'll be able to whatever. That's selling the outcome. You have to help them understand that the benefits of the outcome of working with us is benefits of the outcome working in this other side. So, you know, as a business, long-term, usually these quick hits of dopamine, like buying leads, is not going to get you anywhere.
Fucking stupid.
But setting up an infrastructure that you own and you're able to scale, that is going to have you with a much more successful outcome.
Hey, here's a public service announcement. When you're buying leads, you're paying for the infrastructure. Well, no, you're paying a premium because the people selling you the leads built the very infrastructure that you should have built in the first place for your own business, so you are self-sufficient.
Self-sufficient and scalable and own it. Yes.
It's instant gratification when you buy those leads. Here's the thing. When you buy leads, it is really warranted when your digital strategy that you have in place cannot produce enough to keep your salespeople busy, and you need a quick shot in the arm to keep your salespeople busy. That's okay. Or it's the very beginning of your business and you don't really have much of a reputation or a presence online, and you have to kind of drum up some business real quick in order to build that reputation that you're trying to do. So it is okay in certain situations, but you'll find these older businesses like they've been in business for 20, 30 years and they're still buying. You're buying. What are you doing?
It's because this is the thing. Imagine, and honestly, maybe we should do an episode on this. I don't know if we should or not, but I'm just going to end it with this. When you're buying leads, imagine there's a company that sells you leads. You're buying it, you're competing, you're bidding, you're doing all this stuff that, you shouldn't be doing. Imagine they go away. Oh, fuck. What was that?
Or they raise their prices.
No more leads. What happens? Got to find someone else.
You're at their mercy.
Slow for a fucking month.
You're at their mercy.
But if you own and people are going to call this like we're trying to sell something. You don't know the name of the company. You don't know anything. I'm not giving anything. There's no description. There's no nothing. Straight up fucking advice. Because at the end of the day, we help home improvement companies depend on this and then take things to the next level. Not dependent. They're scaling. They just added a couple million to their bank account. It's just there's a huge difference.
Big difference.
So yes, so that was what the call was about, and I explained that to him, and I said, listen to what I'm saying as a consultant, not a salesperson. Huge thing that I said that I forgot. When someone rebuttals, get rid of the sales. You say, listen. I'm gonna tell you this. Forget the company that we're with. Forget the company that I mentioned them from. I'm telling you right now, you can go to another agency and you can tell them that you want to do this to get this outcome. That's the outcome that you want, not the one that you depend. I said, go to a different agency and do it. If you have an agency, go and tell them to do it. I don't care. I got rid of the sales completely. And I put on my consulting hat, and I said, this is what you want to do in order to scale, in order to do this, I was selling the outcome by doing this thing. Got rid of the sales. At the end of the call, he said, okay, call me at 6:00 tonight. Period. Done. It went from no, I'm not interested to, okay, call me at 6:00 tonight. So, there's ways to rebuttal, and what I've found from making...
Did you ever get him back on the phone?
What I've found, dude.
What? That was an honest question.
No, I'll probably get him back on the phone, but no, not that night. It didn't happen. He didn't.
Ladies and gentlemen, a certified bullshit artist.
But hey, listen, you know what?
Yeah, call me back.
That shit was that was a win in my book because he said,
yeah, you got him from a
no to a yes,
yeah,
motherfucker.
And I saw that. I was like, that's good work. That was good work. But I'm like, let's see if he picks up the phone.
No, he didn't. But you know what?
Yeah.
He had dinner plans and he forgot or something. I don't know.
But real quick, I just want to wrap up this show about sales calls. We had a call with a potential vendor, and man, did this person need coaching.
It was bad.
They were all over the place, and it's going to cost you this and a big range. And I'm like, well, how are you guys doing this?
Andy actually hopped off the call.
She couldn't even answer the questions. No, I had to jump into a meeting.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to disrupt the call, but man,
it was just
the delivery was terrible.
This is one of the reasons why I hate presentations. The reason why is because the way that I sell, the way that you sell is by conversational, and it's by, if you have a pain point here and we have a thing here, and we can put the solution in the pain point, and then the outcome is this. That's how I want to do. If you have a presentation, I'm reading. Oh, this is this, and then this is what you do here. And
she was reading.
It's just you don't like. I hate.
She should know this stuff off the top of her head.
If
you're a sales professional, practice and practice and practice.
Be a pro in what you're providing. That's it. And listen, I don't want
present your value.
I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt because at the end of the day, I've had presentations like that where it was. But
holy crap!
It wasn't. You know. You just got to know what you're selling. You got to be confident in it.
You got to know why.
And if you don't know how to answer a question, just say, this is a good one. If you don't know how to answer a question, the simple way to get around that, and it's good to say you don't know the answer because that gains trust for some reason.
Let me research
Listen,
that.
I don't know the answer to this and I don't want to lead you the wrong way. Let me escalate that, get it back to my team. I'll send you an email with the answer tonight.
Yeah,
Done.
just answer.
Okay.
Study and analyze and understand why the product or service that you're selling. Why would somebody pay you? Why would someone pay you for the service or the product? And then highlight those things.
Listen, I'm confused. Am I the only one?
Listen to me slow.
Okay.
If it's a product or service that solves a problem,
yes,
understand what problem you're solving and then uncover, peel back the onion and understand why that person would hire you for that service or buy that product. It's super simple. Don't talk in circles. The sales presentation that we experienced with this vendor was so bad that I jumped off the call because I had to join a meeting, but it was a terrible call. It was worth it for me to jump off.
No, 100%.
I was like, this is insane.
The thing is, with that sales call, is I was asking specific questions. I'm in sales. I want to know this, this, and this, and I'll make my decision. That's how most calls should go. Flashing lights presentation, it doesn't make any sense to me. I get to the fucking point.
She should have said, what are you guys trying to do?
Find the problem, create the solution with your product. That's it.
And the CEO of the company is going to contact us because this could completely change their company. Well, it could.
Yes, absolutely.
It could, because if what they're doing right now is a little, to what I think, is a little bit.
We don't really understand it yet.
It's a little bit old school what they're doing, and I think they're going in cold. And I said,
don't give too much information because if they see this shit, and
what about going in a little bit
warmer? Thank you so much for joining us today on Real Business Roundtable. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Please like, subscribe, turn on post notifications. We'll see you next time. Peace out.